joined today by Alexander Scanlon, Managing Director and CEO of Barton Gold. Alexander, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having us.
The focus, clearly, the Tunkillia project in South Australia. Been very active in the last 12 months. What have been some of the highlights?
Well, look, our strategy at Tunkillia has been to establish a very large-scale resource base that can form a long-term, large-scale, long-lived project, basically make a company a real company, and then focus on building high-grade enhancements around that. So over the past year at Tunkillia, we've probably drilled close to around 40,000 meters. We've had 3 resource upgrades. That's added about 500,000 ounces at an average all-in cost of around $15 Australian per ounce. And that project has now come to a sort of critical mass of 1.5 million ounces, and that has now moved into scoping studies. So it's really gone from proof of concept to identity and discovery, growth, and then scoping studies in the span of about 3 years.
And you've been very active continuing that drilling. What have you been looking for, and how will that enhance the project?
Well, 2 things we're looking for at Tunkillia. One is further scale. So we're looking for repeats of zones of alteration along strike that could be gold bearing. And then sort of in the periphery or nearby, we're looking for high grade enhancements. So big bulk, super volumetrically efficient open pit, complemented by smaller high grade that can average up an overall blended grade of feed into a new mill. And that's where we look north to our Tarcoola project. So they're about 70 kilometers apart. Fundamentally, they're one project from a logistical standpoint, but Tarcoola is sort of the home of high-grade gold in South Australia. That's where sort of shallow outcropping high-grade gold was discovered in 1893, and it's an historical high-grade producing gold field.
And importantly, infrastructure in place and well-funded.
Correct, yeah. We've got about $13 million worth of cash and gold and concentrates. We do own a mill, so this is a mill that we can use to start operations at our Tarcoola project as we build up a more selective parcel of higher grade resources. And then that we can use to generate cash flow and then treat the Tunkillia project, which is this much larger baseload asset, treat that as an expansion instead of a jump from, say, 0 to 150,000 ounces per annum. Our objective is to leverage the existing infrastructure and go from 0 to 25 to 50 to 150. It's much lower cost, it's much lower risk, it's much lower dilution for our shareholders. And the idea is to get to that same outcome with much less risk and cost along the way.
Where to from here? What should investors be focusing on?
Look, in the next few months, we will be having the results of the scoping study at Tunkillia coming out. So that'll be the first set of economic numbers, if you will. We should say guideline numbers as scoping study. That'll be the first time we sort of get some baseline economics as a general look at this project as a large-scale bulk open pit. And then in parallel, we are already drilling in the high-grade gold field next door. So we're looking at both crystallizing some numbers around Tunkillia and then starting to get a beat on some of the, hopefully a buffet of high-grade targets at Tarcoola that will serve as optimization for Tunkillia, but also feed for our stage 1 operations with our mill.
Clearly focused on production, a world-class project in a tier 1 jurisdiction, exciting times ahead for Barton and its shareholders. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mike.